Hello, PoPRuns. I'm CapnClever, and thanks to CapnClever for running Prince of Persia 1 just before me. I'm actually playing the sequel to the game that was originally on DOS and wasn't just ported to it later. This is called Prince of Persia 2, The Shadow and the Flame, and it's a lot more of a cinematic experience. It's a lot more produced. It's got it's got a freaking, you can hear the narrator right now if I wasn't talking over him.
In his absence, the princess fell in love with a young traveler.
Yeah, like this. And they actually explain briefly the plot of Prince of Persia 1 and stuff, but we should probably get started. We'll have enough time to talk about the plot and stuff. And here's the evil Jafar, which I always kind of say like that instead of Jafar to differentiate him from the Disney Aladdin movie. Anyway, let's get moving. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and a go. So, unlike the problem that was happening with CapnClever in the first game, this is actually something which actually went well. There's a 1 in 3 chance of it going well. Completely out of my hands. Whether or not that goes well or it takes a minute or two to get started is just going to be blind luck. But welcome to Prince of Persia 2. This game plays a lot choppier than Prince of Persia 1, which is funny because it came out like 5 years later. So that's good. But, I mean, just look how nice it looks. Just these graphics, they're so good. So good. And off we go. So that's the first scene right there. And we get on a boat. Because basically we were just chased out of the castle and stuff. Jafar placed an illusion on us to make us look like a nobody and made himself look like the prince. So now we're stranded on a deserted island with donuts and chocolate. Oh god, it's the first one? Okay. We have to make sure to hit all of these tiles except for the one that has a symbol on it. And that'll activate this. Otherwise, you're just soft locked, I guess. Fortunately, you can enter the quicksand and kill yourself. So that's great. Prince of Persia 2 is a much more... Ow. It's a game requiring a lot more know-how of what you're supposed to be moving around in as you play it. Unlike Prince of Persia 1, excuse me, CapnClever mentioned in the previous... I don't know if I want to keep doing it. Whatever, it's fine. In the previous game, in Prince of Persia 1, for example, you could kind of... You clip to the edge, to the ledge when you're trying to jump off. In this game, you won't. If you mess up that timing, Prince, instead of... Yeah, there's a perfect example of it happening. I'm holding the button down, and he just doesn't do a thing. It's great. So, that's great. That's great. Everything's great. You don't even know how good it is. This game plays a bit slower than the last one you just saw, and it also plays like molasses. Like, it's... A lot of people would say Prince of Persia 1 plays like molasses because it's really hard and strict about how you got to hit things, but this game's so much worse in that regard. There we go. I got it. Great. Fantastic. That only wasted 30 seconds. That's fine. It's part of the estimate. That's what you got to do. When you mess up in this game, you mess up a lot. You mess up hard. Now, one thing you'll notice in this game that I didn't do in the previous game is collect health potions. In the last game, they just kind of make it so that you can collect these and it makes combat easier. In case you didn't notice in the last game, we weren't really doing combat, so that wasn't important. And for the most part, it's not really important here either. Though it will be quite handy to have health potions, I can tell you that. In this game, it is a mandated requirement to collect potions. So if you don't, when you get to the end of the game and you don't have enough time, you're dead. It's... Whoop. Nice. Oh no. The time limit has graphics. You can also just look at it down here. But we only have... I never mentioned that in the previous game. We only had 1 hour to beat the game. And if you don't, the game ends. That's it. And whether or not... Yep, took damage. That's fine. We'll just do this then. Gulp, gulp, gulp. You can bring out your sword in this game, which allows you to sometimes clink into a wall and push you backwards, and sometimes that'll save time, which is what we did just there. Good, good. Okay. The timing here is pretty strict, at least to go fast. Okay, we got it. Otherwise, you'll get stuck in the middle, and you'll have to waste some time. I think I can just run off. Yes, okay, good. I think if you jump, you fail. Just trying to remember exactly everything. When you derust this game, you remember what you're supposed to do, but you don't always remember what you're not supposed to do, and that can be bad. So, the input buffering in this game is similar to as it was in Prince of Persia 1. If you hold a button down, it'll eventually get where it needs to be. Unlike the last game, though, it's not kind at all about whether or not you're going to make a particular buffer, say, jumping off of a ledge. So that'll screw you over a lot in this game. I don't know why they got rid of it, frankly. It's like... It just makes the game more frustrating. So here we're supposed to run away from all these skeletons. That's cool. It's like... Start the plane! From that one movie. Okay. And as it turns out, that cutscene, or that in-game cutscene or whatever, actually causes the game to crash DOSBox like 3 levels in. So what we have to do is we got to save the game. We have to quit DOSBox, just exit. Crap, did I do that right? I hope I did that right. I might have needed to like exit first. I mean, it's still there, but that's different. Okay, good. It probably saved the file. Okay. Anyway, so we got out of DOSBox to make that work. Frame rate in this game is same as in Prince of Persia 1. It might actually be less. I don't know. But whatever. So up we go. And there's a lot of little things I do in this run to just make it go fast. That was actually one example of not going fast enough, so that's great. Do I show this off? I have to show this off. It's important. Okay. So you're supposed to get on this magic carpet, but if you don't unleash the gate, you get like a Sierra Adventure game quest type death. Oh, great. Oh, yeah, that also happens. That's right. Let's try that again then. Okay. So off we go. Forgot about that. That'll actually crash the game too. Nice. Probably should have just let it crash at that point. That's fine though. Let's see if I can get it this time. I just need to go a little bit farther, where it looks like I would be hitting that, but I don't. Yeah. This game is weird sometimes. Prince of Persia 1 always felt like you knew what actions you were taking that would cause things to play out correctly. In this game, you just gotta learn. You gotta memorize. And if you don't memorize, you're screwed. Speaking of which. Try that again. Yeah, the lava's... if you remember that lava death, he just falls in the lava and doesn't even finish his scream. This game is brutal. Super brutal. Okay, so make sure you don't go on the carpet. And then we continue along here. Okay, let's try not to drink the potion this time. It's completely unnecessary. And it messed me up. That's why that happened. We're going to use another sword boost here to speed things up, rather than having to turn around and then do other stuff and whatever. And now we get to wait, and now we get to do a lot of boring platforming where you can't even hear noises going upwards. Up we go. Okay. There's spikes. I can actually show these off because we just hit the checkpoint. It's good spikes. I just ran into those. You gotta admit the prince has some massive balls for just running straight into death, looking it in the face and saying, "I'm gonna just die." So here we get to make use of the game's falling ledge tile mechanics here by pushing that without having to get there, which is nice. Hoi! Okay, and up we go. Yeah, there's a spike right there. You don't want to run through that. That would be bad if you did. And yeah, we're collecting more potions. It's very important that we collect these potions. If we don't collect these potions, we cannot complete the game. I just need to put that... hold on. Let's do that again. I hope I'm set up correctly! I was not set up correctly! I think I can still do this. Yeah, okay. Gosh, it's been ages since I've had to go this way, though. Hopefully I can navigate myself here. Okay, we're fine. Actually, what does this do? Ow! Right in the butt! Oh! This game is such a jerk. Okay, so now we get to get past... We're entering this very, very cool looking... how do I do this again? Just careful step, turn... Okay. We're about to enter the bridge section. A lot of people who've played this game know this bridge section. Great. I already messed it up. Wait. Careful step. Back. Is this it? Maybe that's it. Dang it. You'd think I'd remember this. Okay. Let's try this. Doop-a-doo. And up. Great. Whatever. I'm just going to go down the ledge. I know the setup better here anyway. So... I had the setup correctly, by the way. I just messed up the jump here. There we go. Okay, maybe not. Here we go. Great. But this is... Trust me when I say I'll be saving time by doing this regardless, because trying to do this normally is a pain in the butt. There we go. So not only do you have to get past the skeleton, if you try to, like, run past him there, the skeleton will totally just end up pressing one of the floor tiles to cause that to fall down. So you gotta, like, run past him in one go. And, yeah, basically he's a jerk. And if you're not careful, the bridge falls. And it's really nasty and it's hard to get through, so if you can just skip it all, that's great. So yay, we're flying on a magic carpet, but it's a cutscene, so whatever. So now we enter this random lost temple, and we're just gonna go back the way we came to exit the level. This is something that only shows up in the initial release version of this game, which is even pre-1.0, but it's on the internet and people use it, so that's what we use. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious that we just finished the level by going through the entrance. It's pretty good. Okay. And now, one of the best parts, this is something that kind of changed. Routing what potions you grab is important to this run to going as fast as possible. This is one of the harder potion grabs in the run. Yep, okay. We'll just do it this way then. Okay, we're going to take some damage here. Hopefully not too much. Good. And it powderized against the wall. And that's what we want. But we want to make sure we have full health coming up for the next section. Welcome to Medusa Heads, aka the most annoying part of this game. Good. Yeah, we can still skip those. Medusa Heads are just a very annoying combat enemy. I'll explain them in due time. But right here, this is an almost impossible to get past Medusa Head, so we're going to just do some pull-ups. And by doing so, we will set up just where we want to be. Oh, please don't. Okay. It's possible for that Medusa Head to hit you 3 times twice, and we only have 6 health, so that'd just kill me. Thankfully, it didn't, and we got that first try, so we didn't lose any time on that. That's like 2 for 2 in the marathon luck. That's impressive, really. It's not incredibly likely for it to occur, but nevertheless. Okay, and then please get this jump. Yay! I swear, half the jumps I do in this game, I'm just like, I got fingers crossed, hoping that it'll work out, because it's awkwardly precise. Sometimes you got to be holding this button down like 2 seconds ahead of time or something like that. Oh, well, there's the splitter. Say hello to the splitter. Thankfully, there's a checkpoint right here, and it perfectly lines us up to where we need to be. Splitter is another very brutal death in this game. Now let's see if I can get this. This is a 2-part frame perfect type handling of the Medusa head. 1 and 2. Excellent. I don't think I got that last time. So we powderize the Medusa by like phasing through it on the first one and then just kind of parrying its attack on the second. It's pretty cool. I never really figured out timing for this one because it also requires you to figure out what you're doing here. And I never really figured out what I'm doing here either. So there's a way to get through all of this by just running into it, but if you try to fall down there naturally, it kills you because you fall too far instead of just hanging down and being at the right distance. Anyway. Yay. So that's another level down. Sometimes you can skip these levels, sometimes you can't. Whatever. What is coming up? If we were... So, when you play this game normally, for a speed run, you actually resort to PC speaker because the hard crash is just unacceptable for runs. You want to go single segment as much as possible. I'm actually going to save here because I'm not precisely sure that I'm, like, in the clear. But... we're going... There's... one thing that's kind of cool about Prince of Persia 2 is that it's got all this non-linearity. We skip a lot by taking this route. This non-linearity is actually supposed to be a dead end. But we're cool, and we know how to glitch the game, so we're going to do that. Right here, we need to get through this gate. So we're going to get through this gate. See? Look at that. It's great. Magic. We're going to pick up our sword upgrade right here. Pick up our sword upgrade. There we go. And now we got to let this cutscene play out. Ugh. So welcome to cutscenes. I feel this is the callback to the modern era of Prince of Persia, clearly, not the other way around. So here we get something. I don't even know if this is typical, but usually you're supposed to be a hero in these games, but in this game it's like, yo, it's Mom. Dad and I got killed by a bunch of evil dudes. Go and kill them back. Usually it's supposed to be like, you gotta fight for justice or something. No, it's just revenge, basically. Which is weird. It's a complete non sequitur. It's a complete non sequitur. Because you're just trying to, like, find a way back to Jafar and stuff. Meanwhile, apparently we have some kind of nobility lineage, and now we gotta do other stuff. Which never ends up happening in the game. It's such a weird place. Also, this will just sit here forever if you let it. You gotta do that. And there we go. So now we have a sword upgrade, which we'll be using right now. Get this. Good. Okay. So we can skip these first 2 screens. Oh, dude, that Medusa head, not cool. Let's try that again. That Medusa head's not supposed to make it over there. Let's try it again. Okay. You'll notice that we're dealing double damage to these Medusa heads now. It's so good. So happy to have that. Dang it. Oh, come on. Oh! Okay, well. Welcome to Why I Hate Medusa Heads, the video game. That was some real chomping right there. Some real chomping. Try this again. 2 and 3. It's an awfully precise timing. You'd think you could just slash your sword, but no, you have to be awfully precise to hit these things. It doesn't look it, and it doesn't portray it very well at all, but yes. Oh, I thought I could skip this one. Maybe I can? Hold on. I can't skip this one. Come on. I love listening to 20 seconds of music I can't skip. But now we get revenge on the Medusa heads. Because we don't have to fight a single one in this level. And it's great. So what we're going to do here is just let them pass us. They're too stupid to come back. So now we just gotta make some jumps. Normally you would have to go underneath this whole area and defeat all the Medusa heads ahead of time. But because it's the IR version and they don't know how to react correctly, we can just do this instead. And so now we're gonna get on this horse, which you can miss. I want to just be clear. You can miss this. You can like miss the jump, and then you have to start the whole level over again. So we go on this magical horse that also flies, by the way. But this is a cutscene, and besides, I want to show off what happens when you skip this cutscene. The game doesn't actually... It's supposed to seamlessly enter this screen when you go through the cutscene, and as a result, it hasn't loaded the graphics for the level yet. Ah, he wasn't nice. Oh, the tree, the time limit, guys. The time limit. Let's just... I'm going to try to get past this guy. I don't have to, but there we go. Good. But yeah, the entire level's graphics haven't properly loaded, and because of that, we have to do this level blind. So... But it's fine. I know how to play this level blind. Like a true speedrunner. And there we go. Fortunately, what we're able to do right there is a massive shortcut to the level. There is a long way that you're supposed to go around, but if you know where you're going, everything's fine. So that's cool. And now, fortunately, the game loads in the graphics correctly. This is what we should have been seeing earlier in the previous level. And so now we have like a 4-minute level, give or take. If I even get it first try, hopefully I do. There's a checkpoint, but it's actually at a pretty bad spot. It's only about 1 minute into the level. But this is, yeah. Dealing with the prince in this second game is... It's not a good time. And I don't even know how he makes that jump. Looks like he's got really scrawny arms, doesn't he? I don't know how he manages to jump from like 2 stories high and then grabs a ledge and he doesn't even feel it. Like he's not even like shaking his arms off or anything. 100% of this game, there's no run of 100% of this game, if that's what you're asking. You could theoretically like maybe kill all the guards. Oops. Oh, fine, whatever. You could maybe, like, kill all the guards, drink all the potions, or something like that. But there's really nothing in this game that would specifically signify 100%. There's no different ending as a result, or anything like that. So... And there's our checkpoint, by the way. Yeah, on speedrun.com there's what we categorize as 100% in Prince of Persia 1. But again, that doesn't change the ending or anything, so yeah. So now we get to my least favorite enemy in the whole game, Birdmen. Birdmen are just... They're basically the guards of this game, or at least now that we're out of the normal section. And much like the guards in the first Prince of Persia 1, they are quite random. Unlike the first game, movement isn't nearly as fluid, so you end up with this really janky combat. And it's incredibly awkward. And then they added this one thing, which I think they added because they thought it was cool, but it completely ruins combat. And that's when you get close enough to the enemy, when you constantly do parries and reposts and stuff. You'll actually swap places. And that's terrible. It's awful, and I hate it, and I don't know if I could be more emphatic about it if I tried. But, hopefully it'll just never happen. I mean, in Prince of Persia 1, I was swapping places with guys all the time. You'd think that'd be fine. But in this game, there's the chance for multiple enemies to be on the screen at once. You might have noticed in the first incarnation of Prince of Persia, there were never more than one enemy on the screen at one time. Well, at least in one layer at the same time. You'd never have to be forced to fight more than one enemy, like having one wait in the queue or something. But in this game, they decided that that was okay. And if you're swapping places with somebody while there's totally an enemy waiting behind him, you end up getting flanked. And it is the worst thing. And to add to that, in this game, in a later level, we're going to be required to flank and hope that things don't go wrong. So that's cool. So we get past this, and also we get past this. What I do there is a very specific setup so I can get past both of those jumps without having to like reset myself up. So there we go. And we're almost done with this level. There's only like a couple last things to worry about, and we're in the clear. And this is the long level, so hopefully after this we're good. Okay. Good. Okay. Avoid pressing that right there. Good. And down we go. Whew! Making sure you do that first try is good for marathons. I mean, if I mess up near the end, I've lost 2-3 minutes. And now this level. This level is supposed to be a nightmare of a level to get through. Fortunately, this being the initial release version, it's actually pretty easy because, I don't know, they left things in that they probably shouldn't have. But you're supposed to go through all this section and unlock a big old chain of doors and stuff, and it's a pain in the butt. I've never actually done it before. Whatever. So, we're just going to go through here. And this would normally lead us to roughly a dead end, but thankfully it doesn't. Because of weird stuff. Good. And now we're going to try to drink this bottle right here. This green bottle. But no, it's not it's like a person, or a genie or something. And that genie is going to walk right over there past the door we can't reach, onto the exit of the level. So yeah. Hooray! We finished the level. You gotta listen to this music again. My favorite. Oh boy, now time for this level. This level is the gauntlet in this game. That's already a mess up. The gauntlet in this game is much more trying than the one in the previous game. So hopefully it'll go well. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we just do our best to run straight into these guys and hope that they're nice. Oh, I was off by 1. It's hard to line up correctly there. What we're doing in that situation is, well, you'll see what happens. But basically, I set myself up so that we don't have to do any combat. But it's very difficult to do. Ah, no, not quite. We'll keep going at it until we get it, because trying to fight these guys, I don't think they ever stop showing up. Well, maybe they do, but there's a million billion of them, so... That was a great start. And there it is. Yeah, there's no good way through this section, at least quickly. You could try to fight them all, but as I mentioned, combat in this game is, well, as I mentioned in the previous game, combat is random, and it's also janky in this game. Okay, so we got past the first 2. Good. So, I don't know, due to positioning, this guard refuses to turn around, and so combat is halted. Alright, so up we go, make a couple of jumps, watch this guy fall to his death. Go here and very barely make it up here. Okay, good, and I actually got that skipped too. Otherwise, you have to fight a bunch more enemies again. Which would be great. We grab our 9th and final potion, and now one more combat. Oh no, I screwed up, and because I screwed up exactly by trying to jump, I lost all of my hit points instead of just being knocked into combat. I guess I'll just have to start the whole thing over again. No, wait, no. I'll just use the shadow that I had in the last game and grab this flame. It's kind of a clever puzzle. It says he who touches the flame must die. And I did die, so whatever. But yeah, there's no indication of this except in the manual, barely. Oh yeah, I love this guy. So one thing that you're never told about ever in the game, and you have to read the manual, is that there's a way to activate your shadow self. And you do this by by doing a little dance. I used to do little dances in Prince of Persia 1, so it was just kind of fun. Just kind of looked cool, like he was doing a jig. We can just skip this. Although he found his flying horse again, and now we're going to go back to Jafar and rescue the princess. That wasn't the right way. That wasn't the right way at all. Okay, let's go the right way. But yeah, there's a way to activate your shadow self in this game, and there's no indication that you even have a shadow self, except that in the previous game, you merge with your shadow self, and apparently that counts. So now we're going to fight against Jafar. But before we do, we're going to activate our shadow, which is actually now a shadow flame. That's the shadow in the flame. Okay, so now we're going to go... and bam! This is a special glitch that normally when you use the shadow self, you actually lose 6 potion bottle HPs. Thanks, game. Yeah, I tried to make that jump. I failed to make that jump. It's great. But, like I said, normally you're supposed to lose 6. But because we fall off of the ledge just like that, and I think onto the next screen, the game forgets to take off the 5th one. And you need 4 potion healths in order to activate Flame. So that gets us out of a potion bottle that we would otherwise need to collect, and that saves a lot of time. We gotta defeat all these Jafar illusions. And now for the final battle in this cool-looking Escher... Is it Escher? I don't know. It's that one guy who makes the optical illusions and paintings. But right here, normally you gotta chase him down and stuff and shoot your fireball. As long as you buffer all your inputs leading up to the fireball here, and time's coming up. Time. As long as you buffer all your inputs, he never leaves the screen, so you can just kill him. And that's Prince of Persia 2. And now it's super glitched out because we broke the game really hard. So there's a lot of stuff that's not going on correctly.
The princess looked upon the prince and saw once again the man she loved.
But that's Prince of Persia 2. It's a lot more jank than the first one, but it looks nicer. It sounds nicer. To a person who cares about gameplay, that means that I prefer the first one, but it's nice to see that they put in a lot of effort into this game.
People rejoice.
And then they also, like, the halfway point where we're supposed to do the avenging thing, that's supposed to be a setup for the next game that never really happened. Because, I mean, everybody remembers this villain from the Prince of Persia series, right? Yeah, this is common Prince of Persia person. So, right. But then we got Prince of Persia 3D, and, yes, POP 3D happened. Happy. It's so happy. And then it just loops back. So, thanks for having me. This was fun, going over estimate because of 4 minutes spent on the first trick in POP 1, but this one went a lot better, so that's good.
In ancient Persia, there lived a sultan.
Anyway,
only daughter.
up next is Henna Joe. I don't think I pronounced that right. Whatever, it's Joe, and he's playing. He's actually playing the remake of the first game, adapted like 15, 20 years later into the modern Prince that we've known for the rest of this marathon. So you'll see a lot of similar topology and architecture in that game, but very different play. It's actually a very nice watch to see them kind of back to back. So anyway, thanks for having me, and I will be continuing to watch this through the rest of the day and into tomorrow. And I hope that all of you continue to do so, at least at your convenience. So, yeah, I'll see you around.